Ever since discovering what the Mammoth Sniper Challenge is a few months ago, I have been waiting in anticipation for this day. And we are 15 minutes away from registration opening. So I'm not going anywhere until that page says add to cart. Five minutes. Okay, it's time. All right, 1 second. And we're in. All right, I'm going to jump on call with my teammate so that I can record it and let him know that we're good to go.
Yo,
What's up,
we're
man?
in. Mammoth.
We're in?
We are signed up. It's official. I got the confirmation from G3 Dynamics, and they already got a page up showing when it's time to register the final registration. So
Okay.
with the remaining dollars that we'll owe. But yeah, man, we're good to go. We're in it.
So that gentleman that you just met, his name is CJ Jordy, and he and I have known each other for the better part of 20 years. Served in Afghanistan together back in 2008, and he'd actually been to Iraq twice before that. We were both in the Army. And conveniently enough, he lives in San Antonio. So with me being in Houston, it gives us opportunities to train together a little bit more than maybe some other teammates might. But here's the plan going forward for what this series is going to be about. We're not sponsored by anybody, so everything that we are doing for this competition is out of our own time in our own pocket, and largely due to our somewhat tolerant wives. We both have young kids. I've got 3, he's got 2, so it certainly takes away some of that time. But our goal here is to give you an unvarnished look at what weapons training, gear, and especially the Ruck training looks like for us. And if you're paying attention to Mammoth at all, you know that the Ruck is the most important aspect of the event, arguably more important than the shooting, because you could shoot lights out, but if you're not 16 minutes a mile or 18 minutes a mile, depending on which evolution they're at, you go home empty-handed. And since we don't have a name sponsor like Sierra, Vortex, or Bagara, we won't have a fancy camera crew on the day or during the event. So we're going to make do with what we can. And our plan is to get the little first-person view cameras as well as the trigger cams. By the way, if any of you have trigger cams that we can borrow, that would be awesome. But if not, you know, we're gonna spring for it. Buy once, cry once, right? That's what they say. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna jump into the gear a little bit, share with you the Ruck that I'm using, the pistol, and finally the rifle. This is going to be my Ruck. This is the Eberly Stock Gunslinger 2. A lot of people use this pack. I know there's a bunch of different ones out there. Mystery Ranch, Skilly Gear. It's coming out with some cool stuff. But Eberly Stock has a good reputation, and I already replaced the aluminum tube frame in here with the flat polymer one. And yeah, it's already much nicer. But that is the pack I'm going to be running. There isn't much to talk about in terms of the pack. I mean, I think I've already got my tent. I need a sleeping bag and sleeping pad, but we're going to use individual tents because it's just easier that way rather than sharing one. And he also refused to let me be Little Spoon, so that was a deal breaker for me. If you've seen any of the videos thus far, one thing that people definitely should not sleep on if they're tackling Mammoth is pistol. Pistol is at least a third of the points, and there's only a couple stages where you don't have pistol, and there's one stage where it's exclusively pistol. The mic might not be the best here, but Here's what I'm going to be running. This is the Shadow Systems MR 920 Elite. You can see it's clear there. And I'm running a SIG Romeo 1 Pro optic on it. Now, I took this out to 100 yards the other day, and I have astigmatism, so there's a lot of bloom or flare with the red dot itself. And once I kind of figured out which little flare point was best, I was consistently getting hits at 100 yards. But I'm thinking what I might do is spring for the Shadow Systems XR920P, the new compensated one, and then put one of those hollow suns with the Vulcan reticle with a chevron on it, because having that distinctive point to zero to and use for consistent sight picture definitely helps with people that have football shaped eyes like myself. That wasn't meant to be a half Korean joke, that was meant to be a astigmatism. As we get closer to the event and I get more of the gear, I'm going to go through a more in-depth analysis of our decision-making tree, balancing comfort versus ease of shootability, and the weight that we have to carry on our backs the entire time. But for now, let's take a look at the rifle. And here she is. This is the Q Fix in 6.5 Creedmoor. One story I want to tell here before I go into this rifle is I was looking to get a spare bolt from Q, because if anything's going to fail in the field, it's going to be an extractor or something small part related, and I wanted to be able to replace it in the field, because with this rifle it's very easy to do with minimal tools. And what happened is the customer service rep from Q told Kevin that I was going to be running Mammoth, and not only did they send me a free bolt, they sent me their last 22-inch 6.5 Creedmoor barrel, because this comes standard with a 16, which is very light and compact, but a 22 is definitely going to be better for ballistics at 1,300 yards or so. And they sent me the barrel for free along with some swag, so thank you so much to the folks at Q. If you're watching this, I cannot tell you enough how much I appreciate it. Running the Q Trash Panda on the Cherry Bomb muzzle device, which is fairly standard for them. The tapered shoulder there. The stock Q-Cert handguard, and I've got the Q-Cert mount adapter with the Atlas bipod, which is an outstanding bipod. I've got this nifty little jock strap from the Pew Surgeon, and it matches my Misty Mountains G-Sling, which is a very lightweight sling. I've got the Annex Defense rail scale covers, and I'm going to have all this on the screen somewhere, so if you don't feel like listening to me rattle this off, you can just read it. And then moving to the optic, I'm running the Night Force NX8 with the Horus Tremor 3 MRAD reticle, and it is out freaking standing. This also has a set of 100 Concepts scope caps, which I prefer to stock scope caps because there's the signature reduction aspect in the front, but even if you have like a really cloudy day, for example, you can just pop that off like that. Really well done. I've got it mounted on the Reptilia mount. Love how slick these are, how they've designed it to minimize any snag points. And I've also got, which goes right on their AUS mount, the bubble level, which even if you're new to long range shooting, trying having the rifle canted just a bit, and you can throw off your shot quite a ways. I'm running the big butt pad and the crutch bag rider as well. So yeah, that kind of sums it up in a nutshell. Oh, I've also got the Peace of Mind guns. I've got one of the 20s and two of the 10s in this sick Arctic camo that I'm going to bring. And because I have SR25 mags, I really only need to bring those mags, I shouldn't have any issues. And this thing has been running so clean, especially once I got the extended bolt handle on there. That little tiny bit makes a difference. Every inch counts. And when these guys advertise, I've just got snap caps in here, that this is literally the best trigger ever made, so good, so clean, running flawlessly. Definitely broken in. I gotta get a tripod. I think that's gonna make these tabletop things more aesthetic. I don't know if you're supposed to ask this at the beginning, but if you're all interested in seeing how and where this goes, please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the rest of the journey. My name is Dan, and welcome to my page, The Hadron. Take care.